Yo, what's up, guys? How's everyone doing? So, first live stream of the day. The software I'm using just updated. So, I'm not sure if you guys see two screens. From my perspective, I'm seeing a vertical and a horizontal. Let me know if it's weird. They, you know how these tech companies are, they do updates. Either way, we got a big, busy week ahead. We're going to turn the page on last week and focus everything on this week. We got a lot of fights starting my Friday with that Stephen Butler fight, and then going all through the weekend. As you guys are tapping in, let me know how you're doing. Give me a thumbs up. We want to get the likes up on the live stream. So I got my analytics. I'm one of these guys. If you didn't know, I pay a lot of attention to stats, whether I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I think stats are really important. And on the live streams, we average between 40 and 60 on the lives, but we only average like 20 to 25 likes. So if you guys are watching the live stream, if you can, just like the video. Also, if you haven't subscribed, could you please do that? Also, if you're not in the Discord, do that. That link is pinned in the comment section below. We're going to get right into this. So here we go. Aussie Pugilist, what's up, buddy? Good day. Just wanted to know if you could find any odds on Saturday night's fights. Zeke Campbell versus Mangani Sabana. It's a neutral corner promotion for WBC Australian Gold Super Welterweight strap. Mate, the books that I have are Bet365 and Sportsbet. And so those are the only two I use. I'm not seeing any odds on that fight. I just found out that is that the same Aussie? Is that the same card with the kid who trains with Apataya? I just saw a neutral corner promotion on my Instagram story. Yeah, neutral corner promotions. Huh. Paulo Cuso. Is that card? Let's check it out. Oh shit. That's you know who else is on that card? Is I watched this kid fight multiple times. Fawcett. Fawcett's on the card. This looks like a decent card. I'm not seeing any odds for this though. There's your boy on the left. That's going to be Zeke Campbell, Paulo Cuso, Jason Fawcett. Decent little card. We'll see. Maybe some of the other boys. We got a nice percentage of Aussies on the channel. Considering I live in Sydney, the Aussie boys are starting to follow more and more. It's 60. I think 65% of my subscribers are American. But maybe we got some Aussies on the page who could let us know. Maybe there's a lot of obscure betting apps out there that I'm probably just not aware of. So if I find something, I'll let you know. PJ, what's crack-a-lackin'? Philly in the house. What's up, Non-Never? You guys are tapping in. We got a lot to talk about, guys. There's a lot of 50-50 fights. So I'm interested in we're going to have a lot of this is going to be another one of those weeks where we're going to have some division in the group, which we're all about. Educated division. We had it last week with some of the fights. But if you're following my Instagram story, you'll know that I put up I use my Instagram story as potential talking points for my live streams. If you guys didn't connect that together, that's what I kind of do. I use the Instagram story as sort of talking points and then structure at times. And I put up a couple 50-50 fights. I'll go over those with you boys real quick. There might be more. I want to see where you guys stand on this. Okay, so firstly, these odds, this in my opinion is the steal of the week. This is Landolfo Delgado going against Galazzo. Delgado undefeated. I just don't like what Galazzo. I think Galazzo spent. Dare I say he's a what do you guys call him when fighters they're done? I'm not going to use that adjective, but Galazzo's a guy we watched go life and death with a clubber this past May in Mexico. He lost that fight, by the way. And because 6 weeks prior he got beat the shit against Subaru Matias. And so this is my steal of the week. Landolfo Delgado, $1.32 on the money line against Gelato. Sublime in the house. All right, here's the dog watch list. So when I put these up, I'm not telling you I'm taking this. I'm just giving you guys a heads up because you guys are boxing heads like myself. Do your own homework. When I give you my dog watch list, it's me saying, hey, keep an eye on these fights. The odds, Ishmael Davis, Sam Gilly. Ishmael puts his hand up to fight literally anybody. Davis is the favorite, but this could go either way. Another one, Catterall versus Esteban. We last saw Esteban. He we'll get there in a second. Catterall's coming off that sort of, the fight got stopped due to cuts against Harlem Eubank. We picked Jack to win. We got the dub. Esteban screwed me on a ticket with Josh Taylor, and now he gets a big fight against Jack. So it depends on what you like. They call Esteban the engine for a reason. His output. If you like Echo Esteban, it's going to be about output, volume, pace. If you like Jack Catterall, it's going to be about timing, precision, and class. The issue with Catterall, if you're going to pick Catterall at $1.53, is obviously you're going to have questions about his output. Okay? And then if you're going to pick Esteban, your questions are going to be, how's he going to go in there operating with a guy like Catterall? And we know that Catterall moved to America for this camp. He's going to be with Bozy. Bozy is going to be in his corner. All I'm saying is, you guys know me. Every week I create a dog watch list. 270 on Esteban. I mean, the dogs could be barking here. Another one. Now we saw this one. We saw this one play out. Damn, Conor needs a new photo on his box rec, by the way. They got Conor out here looking like an airbrush Disney actor. You know what I'm saying? Got them little cornrow, them braids in. Conor looks suspect. He got what, purple contact lenses in? They gotta update that one. But 260, we saw how the first one played out. Another rehydration clause. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of adjustments from either guy. I've been saying all week, I'm not a big fan of this fight. I didn't want to see this fight. We're here, we're getting it. It's a pay-per-view fight. The card's okay. And make what you will about it. I know guys are going to take Conor just based on the odds. I don't know. Will we be able to overcome that size again? Size is a big deal. Shout out to the Professor Michael Fox, my guy. He's fighting again. Michael Fox dodges no smoke. You'll recognize him from the Sari Boacek fight. Look at my guy. Hold up, player. A true OG. And you only dance like this if you know you can beat the piss out of everybody in the room. This is what when we were coming up, we call this swag. You guys, the Young Bucks changed the name of it. Y'all don't say swag anymore. This motherfucker is swaggy as fuck, boy. Sorry for the F-bombs, Mom. But look at that smile. What are we doing here, boy? Mr. Steal Your Girl. Look at you. Get your money, boy. Love me some Senior. Look at my man out here, boy. That's my guy. Senior is my guy, boy. All right, let me play this for you.
Virgil next, whatever they say, Woods doesn't want to fight Virgil. Woods is not going to fight Virgil next. Whatever they say, oh, there's a signed contract already. That's all. There's Woods is not going to fight. Woods is not going to fight Virgil next. He's going to show up. Why didn't they call us up and invite us to his fight 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Whenever he just fought recently. You come to ours, we go to yours. We promote the fight. That would have been the perfect idea to do. But they want to show up, and they are going to show up. That doesn't make a difference. Virgil's going to do his job. But, that's just kind of like trying to get the media, the press to believe that they're ready for the fight. I know they're not. I know they already have a date where they already have, a possible opponent already. So it's all.
Let me press pause real quick. And I got into it with somebody online about this. Okay, you guys are tapping in. I got into it with somebody online about this exact thing. And, we love recency bias. Everybody, saw what Virgil looked like against Eric. He looked great. Everybody saw what Boots looked like against Lima. He looked great. And everybody, Boots walks into the ring. That fight is not happening next, guys. People are getting salty. And you guys got to remove emotions from your reactions too, man. Just because somebody disagrees with you in a comment section doesn't mean you got to get emotional. And the chances of the dude that I was going back and forth with in the comment section on my stream very slim. But what I'm saying is people are getting all emotional about other people like myself saying Boots and Virgil are not fighting next. That's not happening. And so when people read that comment, I write that Virgil and Boots aren't happening. They're like, what do you mean? You don't want, why don't you, what other fight do you want to see? I'm like, bitch, I didn't say that. I just said it's not happening next. That's all I'm saying. I want to see that fight. That fight should happen. Hopefully it happens. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So don't get too excited about it. There's multiple reasons why it's not happening, and money is probably at the top, but also hardware is at the top. The promoters aren't going to do Boots versus Virgil if there's a world title not on the line. That's just not going to happen. So the belts have to go through the belt holders at the moment, and the 154-pound division, it's an interesting division right now with considering who the belt holders are, and we'll see what happens. But Virgil versus Boots, neither one is a world champion. So we want to see the fight. It's going to be wild when it does happen, but it's not happening next. West Coast. Johnny, you thought about doing an intro piece for hell nah. Intro piece? What you think this is? You think this is a real show? I ain't doing no intro piece. You don't need to get psyched up, boy. I ain't no hype man. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I look at from a professional standpoint, if you watch my Stats Don't Lie videos, that's where I do all the professionalism. I look at these live streams as the Wild West. We're out here singing, dancing, swearing, talking shit. Y'all need an intro? What? Y'all want me to give you a spoon? Y'all want to eat? Y'all don't need no intros. This shit ain't. You get an intro on my Stats Don't Lie video. You get all that good stuff. I give songs to you on my other videos. You get my professionally edited ones. Go to my playlist, fight predictions. Don't come to my live streams wanting intros. Hell to the nah. You get no goddamn intro out here, boy. Mike Ross, people get emotional online. True story. All right, yeah. So let's stay here then. Ziggy, what's crack-a-lack and Eubank stops Ben? Let me show you something real quick. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. This is, I'm salty about that. Nola. Okay, this one.
Take this fight again, boys. Stay in this fight.
What do you guys notice? Look at the size difference. Dude, it's going to be the same as before, mate. This is what we call squeezing the juice from the orange. This is what we call making the most of the product. That's what's happening here. No, I didn't want to see this rematch. The banks want to see the rematch though. There's a lot of money on the rematch. It's another pay-per-view thing. They're doing it at Tottenham once again. So I get it. I understand why you want to see the rematch. I don't want to see the rematch. And it just kind of shows me how serious Conor Benn really is on becoming a world champion. So for this to even happen, you kind of know that Conor's really not that. Make your generational wealth. I'm cool with that. It's the blood game, man. We're not here. This is a blood sport. You know what I'm saying? So make your money, but let's not try to spin narratives as like you're trying to be the best in the world, because that ain't that. This is you, double dipping. We're not allowed to double dip if we got the chips and dip at the table. These cats are double dipping, thinking that the fan base is ignorant. But make this fight free. Why not broadcast this? The idea that this is behind a paywall again, I was already salty about the fight going into it. I was like, I don't want to see this again. This is like, it wasn't a world-class affair. You didn't see any sort of traps. It was just a blood and guts brawl, which is great for the average casual fan. It's gonna do really well once again. But from a tactical, technical sort of design approach, like how I'm gonna design a fighter's career, Do we want to become a world champion like you say you want to become a world champion, or are we just sort of kind of cashing out on both ends? That's what this is. Because Conor should be fighting. He thinks he could be a champion at 47 or 54. Prove it. Who's he really beaten? He beat Chris when Chris was like 50. You know. So anyway, that's my take on that. I'm not a big fan of that fight. I actually don't even want to break it down, but I got to break it down. Sorry. Anyway, I know I offended somebody there, but I'm just being honest with you. It's one of those fights. You know, sometimes I really enjoy breaking rematches down. I'm doing, my stats don't lie videos. This one, I'm like, oh, yeah. We were witnessing CTE in real time. The lack of adjustments, just the willingness to prove like that first fight left a bad taste in my mouth. You have to know your boxing history. You got to know Nigel Benn. You got to know Senior. You got to know the fights they had. You got to know their careers. You got to know the outcomes of some of their fights. You got to know the outcomes of what could happen in boxing. And so to see the two young sons get paired up again and seeing what the first time looked like, and it was only what 6 months ago. They took a lot of damage, man. Yeah, I'm not happy about it. Oh well, that's just my take. Oh, we going the distance again, Mr. Reed? I think so. Unless or we get what's our boy's name who stopped the what's the big fella's name who stopped all the Fabio Wardley fights? Is he reffing? If the big dog who was reffing the Fabio Wardley fights, then it might be a stoppage. But the dude who reffed the first fight, I don't know if they're probably not the same guy. The guy who reffed that first fight was like, we're just gonna let him bang it out. So who knows behind the scenes? Maybe there's more money on sort of pay-per-view fight cards to go the distance in terms of ad revenue. I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's something nobody talks about. But like, think about the ad revenue on the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, it goes and extended the same amount of time, so you're paying for these slots, right? No matter what, the fight never ends early in the Super Bowl. It always is going to go 4 quarters. And with that, you have ad revenue and time slots, etc. Maybe pay-per-view cards like this, they have pre-slotted ad revenue slots, which means that if somebody were to do the statistical breakdown, how many ring cards that were pay-per-view, Riyadh, this is a Riyadh, right? How many over the last 2 years have gone the distance based off of time ad revenue? I don't know. I'm just questions we might have to ask. I'm not in a good mood about the card, guys, if you couldn't tell. I'm not too stoked about this card in England. There's some good fights on it, but if you couldn't tell, I'm not too fucking stoked on it. Maybe I'm just having a come down from the fights from this past weekend. There were a couple good fights this weekend. I want to see some good fights, boys. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what the boys are saying. Money Meach. Eubank Benn is the very fight that got me eliminated on Fanatics too, man. I killed them boys with Eubank. Yeah, we hit. I was up on that too. I think we're gonna see more of the same. Love you, love from GUK. The ref stop Parker was Howard Foster. So Mike, Mike had a good call too by Mike. What was your take of the weekend? You called it. There was a fight this past weekend. But yeah, is Howard Foster the guy doing these fights? Ben Jr. going to take a page out of Senior book and turn back. Okay, so this is actually not a bad point. This is not a bad point by Joe, and this is one of those things that you got to talk about. I think there's a path to victory for Conor. I do. The path to victory for Conor would be exactly what Joe is talking about here, because when you think about adjustments, right? Boxing's about adjustments, and hopefully, if this fight goes differently, the adjustments are going to be in Conor's corner. Tactical. Chris, when you think about the deep water moments in the first fight, even though I won money on Chris, I picked Chris to win. As I'm watching that fight, from a gambling man's perspective, and you guys know this, when we watch a fight and you got a lot of money on a fight, we almost highlight the one we pick we almost highlight the guy that we have money on. We're almost more critical of him during the fight. I don't know if you guys do that. That's how I am. So if I'm going heavy, or if I have a, whoever I'm picking in the fight, I'm way more critical on that guy than I am his opponent. So I'm not watching the fight and calling the opponent a bum. Knock this dude out. This dude's a fucking bum. Come on, said fighter. Blah. No, I'm watching the guy that I invest in, and I'm being critical. Like, God damn, dude. So my mind says, like, he's gonna let me down, boy. I should not have picked him. And it could be like, it could be a matchup like, somebody like a 12-1, and I'll still be that way. And then my boys will be like, Johnny, it's not even close. What are you tripping? I was like, it's close, man. This shit can end right here. Look, he's not parrying the jab. His chin's up in the air when he's circling out. He's gonna get knocked out to the body. That's how I watch the fight. With that being said, I feel Eubank was the one who was in deeper water than Conor in that first fight. At least with the optics and the body language, it looked like that Chris was the one that was hurt a couple times. And when he was getting hurt a couple times, it was him moving on the back foot and him sitting on the ropes a little bit too much. And so, with that in mind, I think going into this second one, if you're Connor, the game plan would be, all right, don't engage in as many flurries as you did in the first one in which you were getting hit, because there were a lot of times where he would hurt Chris, and instead of what the proper, I think, fight IQ would be, you see your guy hurt, be a little bit more measured. Don't be as aggressive and willing to trade to take one to give one. You already have your guy shelling up. All right, use a little bit more movement, go left to right, maybe feint, get him to bite, and then counter. These sort of things, I feel, if I were to pick which fighter could do more and make more adjustments, I would say Conor. And then you mix that with his youth. And then Chris, also we saw the weight cut killed him in the first time. And then the damage he took after the first one going to the hospital. Is he 100%? I don't know. It's harder to recover the older we get. So, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Adam Azim versus Scobie. I think people are underrating Adam Azim. I don't rate Scobie. I don't rate Kurt Scobie, by the way. I think Adam Azim is the true. Adam Azim could crack, man. I don't I don't know why. I'll pull these odds up. I think the odds are fair here. Yeah, I didn't put this on my dog watch list. I know people in my Discord like Scobie here. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think Adam Azim is that dude. I think he's going to handle him. But we'll see. Obviously, we don't agree on everything, which is fine. Okay. So he says he thinks Scobie wins. How? I think Scobie's, if he, I think a lot of his sort of adoration just comes down to what he looks like. But it's hard for me to get past. He's had a couple head scratching performances. He doesn't do it for me, man. I don't see it. I've never been high on Kurt Scobie, though. Can he win? Of course he can win. He's an apex athlete. This dude is the truth, man. People don't like this. He's 23 years old. There's a lot to like about Adam Azim. That's his AMI record. 13-10 knockouts. Like, this is one, I'm not even sweating this one, actually. I saw this match made. I was like, oh, Adam's going to be eaten for sure, stylistically. So that's just my take on this. I don't see Scobie. This isn't on one of my dog watch lists, by the way. I think Adam should do well there. Benn definitely cashing out. No, I ain't not gonna hustle, boy. I see it. I have to play both sides. I want to. My goal always with you boys is to give you sort of. I don't ever want to just go one-sided perspective. Even last week, the fighters that we picked to win, and the ones that we lost, every fight I break down. I'm gonna go, but even in my stats don't lie videos, I give you guys path to victories for both fighters. I say if you're on this fighter to win, this is what he's gonna have to do. If you're on this fighter to win, this is what he's gonna have to do. In my opinion, this is who I think is gonna win. So I do it in my breakdowns. Johnny, there's always something weird in Eubank's pay-per-view. Liam Smith, Eubank fights like Liam Smith 2, Smith out of shape. Ben 1, Eubank C. No, Mankey, you're right, man. No. Mankey, you're right. I agree with you. What the hell's going on with this screen? These pop-up ads are crazy. Ziggy, Ben was at his best. Eubank wasn't. Ben will never win this. We will see Sunday. Why don't you think he will ever win? Oh, you're a diehard Eubank fan. Ziggy, what part of the UK you from? Boxing bets. What's up, 79? Did you boxing bets? Were you 79 pro back in the day? Or is that just I'm betting the draw and Ben money line. I made good money betting Eubank for same. I just don't know if he can handle the weight cutting. Yeah, guys. So this is a very valid point. Sometimes in boxing, it's not always. Sometimes in boxing, it's not always who's the best boxer on paper that you have to look at in terms of picking who's going to win. There's other variables. In this specific rematch, we have a lot of variables that we could break down and dissect. How long ago was their last fight? The rehydration clause, the damage, the punches, the distance, the volume, the wear and tear. More importantly, the recovery. So if I am leaning towards Conor this time around, it would be under the guise of adjustments made, youthful recovery, smarter fight IQ, and the fact that his opponent, neither guy is the same guy they were before the first fight. You got to remember that. Nobody, no fighter is the same. I mean, unless you have a first, second round stoppage such as Virgil and Boots, what we just saw. But generally speaking, in a fight, and those were just straight up dominations. But in a real fight, a fight that goes the distance or a fight that goes long, neither guy in their next fight will be the same guy. You lose a little bit. And so then you have to ask yourself, where is each guy are in their career? How much total damage has each guy taken in their whole career? Tread on the tires is a real thing. Also, this fight wasn't that long ago. So it almost sounds to me, these are answers we'll never have. It almost sounds to me that they had it sounds like they had an expiry date on their rematch. Do you know what I mean? Maybe going into it, they were like, when they signed on the dotted line, obviously they signed before the first fight, it was a 2-fight deal. And in that 2-fight deal, whatever the contract was, it looks to me that was like, all right, 2-fight deal, both fights have to take place within 180 days or something along those lines. That's the only, because it's, for me, from a business side, from an entrepreneurial side, that makes sense. But from a guy who cares about fighters and a guy who cares about the sport, it doesn't make sense. It only makes sense from the money side, this rematch. From the health perspective, why do it so quick? Why rush into it? You know what I mean? It sounds like an expiry date contractual agreement to me, but we won't get those answers. Sal's blog talk, yo, what's good? Agree with you. Not super excited this weekend. Still edge Chris, possible stoppage this one, but money line for me. Yeah, so there's a few of these fights, Sal, on the money line. I'm gonna go through them real quick. Look, guys, these aren't my official predictions. 40 people in the live chat, 28 minutes in. Give me a thumbs up. We don't have to agree. Let me know if you disagree. Make sure you subscribe. Get in the Discord. The Discord is popping. I want to get to 300 people I want to get to 300 members by the end of the month. We hit another growth. This is our 14th week. We're at 270. Johnny says insiders in the Discord. And, the link is pinned in the comment section below. I'm going to go over the fights right now that are showing on my betting app that I feel could go either way. Now, just because I highlight these doesn't mean I'm picking them yet, but you will get a prediction from me. Okay, so Stephen Butler, the odds seem a bit fair. My hesitation with betting on Butler is just that of his 5 losses, he's got knocked out 5 times. We know what Stephen Butler is going to go in and do. He's looking for the stoppage. So if anything, I think the play would be fight go to the distance. No. Stephen Butler by knockout. Yes. Not my official prediction. We're just talking about the money play. Don't care. I got a couple people hitting me up about Tommy Welch. I haven't taped him. Riakpo is obviously a huge favorite here. I can't put him on my list yet. I'd like for some of you UK boys because we got some UK boys in the house. I think Mankey's from the UK. Obviously, Mike's from the UK. Keys. Do you guys know much about Tommy Welch? Because some of you boys messaged me on Instagram about it. For now, I'm gonna leave it alone. This is another one. Sam Gilly, Ishmael Davis. Those odds are tempting. I think this fight, in terms of making money on it, $1.37 for Ishmael isn't that tempting for me. He's been more active as of late. Sam Gilly at 340 though. Do your homework, do your research. I think there's money on the table there. I don't see it, guys. I don't see Scobie beating Azim. I think the people who like Scobie, I think a lot of it has to do with, like I said, the optics of what he looks like, the marketing behind him. I think maybe I'm looking to I rate Adam Azim, especially him being 23 years old, how he fights, the energy he brings. I like him here. This is the one, Catterall Esimon. So I'm gonna upload my breakdown after I do this live stream. So you're gonna get my first Stats Don't Lie video in about an hour and a half. I'll release it to the members first. That's something we've been doing. Shout out to Mankey Crazy on the live stream. He gave me that idea in the Discord. So all of my Stats Don't Lie videos will come out first for the members. And then throughout the week, you guys get members-only content with my betting picks. But if you like Jack, you're going to like Jack because of his class, his resume. You're going to like the idea that he moved to the States to train with Bozy for this camp. If you like Esimon, you're going to like his output. You're going to like the volume, the pace he puts on. And you mix that with Catterall's low output and his willing to try to be perfect on his shots. I think the dog is live here, guys. I do. I'm not saying I'm picking Esimon. But you give me a 270. I mean, he definitely has a path to victory. They call me Engine for a reason. If he outworks Jack, he could definitely if he outworks Jack, if he uses the entire ring, if he avoids any big shots, doesn't get knocked down, doesn't give away any clear rounds, I think he's going to be, from the optics side, he's going to be the guy who's going to be edging the rounds. Now, what is Jack going to look like in his first camp with Bozy? How much could Bozy really add to a guy's game with one fight camp? All these, we'll see. But you got to ask yourself these questions. You already, we talked a little bit about Eubank and Benn. The odds are tempting. I think the money's going to be coming in on Conor on this one, guys. So if you like Chris, I would take him now. It's something that we're really good at on the channel, being able to look at the odds early in the week, see the matchup, and kind of predict where the money will be coming in. Now, if you're going to be a money line guy, the money line is pretty good on each side. 1,000 on Eubank just to win, you get your money back plus 5,700. I mean, that's a 57% return on that bet. And then Conor at plus money, 260. So if you like this money line right now with Chris, actually, if you like it right now, I bet you I would take. I think money's going to be coming in on Conor. In terms of the marketing, how the first fight went, if Conor gets the dub, maybe they do a trilogy, and then that's something that, legacy, and then who knows. But if you like Eubank, I think the money would be right now taking him. Actually, let's revisit this one because what do you guys think? Do you think money's going to come in on Chris or Conor? Because my chat's been torn half and half. It's an interesting one because just basically talking to you boys over the last 30 minutes, it's been kind of half and half. Some have said Chris, some have said Conor. We'll sit back. Look at the draw, 15-1. Anyone playing the draw? Kiki Torres is fighting. There's a fun top-ranked card in Mexico. Emiliano Vargas, Kiki Torres. All right, this is my lock of the week. 100%. I don't even know how Galaz got this fight. I don't know how Galaz got this fight. I'm betting the farm on Landolfo Delgado based off of how Galaz looks. Galaz got beat up in March against Matias and then got given probably one of the worst, for me at least, in 2025. If we're going to do, in the Discord, we're going to do our 2025 year-end awards. We're gonna do awards for the biggest robbery, biggest comeback, biggest dog, best knockout, all that sort of thing. For me right now, at the top of my biggest robbery list, it would be the Galaz Valenzuela fight when he fought. And I won money on it because I picked him. But mate, I was sweat. He fought a what was it, an 8-rounder? It was only 6 weeks after Subriel beat him up. And I think people should have went to prison. His handlers should have went to prison for this fight. So he gets beat up in March against Matias. I'm talking like a lot of damage. Go watch that fight. And then 2 months later, he fights a guy named Manuel Medina Barrera, who was 7-3. Let's check these scorecards. The scorecards were absolutely atrocious. Barrera doesn't even have a photo on BoxRec. 96, 94, 98, 94, 96, 94. Guys, I couldn't find 2 rounds for Galaz. I couldn't find 2 rounds for him. It was so bad. The fight was I think it was in Tijuana. Both guys are from Mexico. The crowd was booing. And this is Galaz, who was like at one time their guy, and the crowd was booing. So what I saw, just watch that tape. When you see a guy's central nervous system get fried, when the boys will say he's shot. If there's ever any example of a guy that I would agree that they're shot, is watch Galaz before Subriel Matias, watch the Matias fight, and then watch him against Medina. He couldn't move. His feet weren't moving, meaning his brain, the synapses triggering responses, they weren't firing on all cylinders. That's what happens when our central nervous system gets fried from brain trauma. It was very evident. It was actually hard to watch. I've got to be honest with you, because I'm a fan of Galaz, and he's been in some great fights, right? For him to get Delgado here, look, I wouldn't normally pick Delgado to win by let's see what the stoppage is paying, mate. We're not getting. If I get props on that stoppage, I'll let you boys know. But that is my steal of the week. Landolfo Delgado against Galaz. Don't know how people are so confident in the distance for the rematch. Yeah, it was I don't know yet on that. Manny, is this your Ben? No, not yet. I'm just painting the picture for everybody. I'm not deciding. It's only Tuesday morning here in Australia. The only decision I've made is my steal of the week. To steal. Thou shalt not steal. Landolfo Delgado at 132 against Galaz. That's my steal of the week. Good day, Sam Gilly is your dog. Okay, so to clarify, I was giving you guys the rundowns of potential dogs so you guys could do your homework. We're teaching out here, right? But we're also all teaching each other. If you guys are just relying on me, then no, those aren't my dogs. What I'm doing is for all the other boxing heads who watch my stuff, who like watching tape, who make predictions. There's content creators on my channel. There's fighters on my channel. There's coaches on my channel. So it's kind of like me highlighting, hey guys, look at this fight, look at this fight, look at this fight. This is a potential upset. This is a potential upset. As we get closer to the weekend, I'll give you my, you'll get my full dog of the week. Yeah, I agree, Kiza. I don't see the hype on. I gotta be honest with you, Kiza. Scobie was on my no bet list based off of he'd always go into these fights with odds, odds that were super favorable. Who was my guy who pieced him up, boy? I'm gonna click on his name and I'm gonna be salty about it. Dakota Linger. Dakota Linger out here, boy. Eubank Senior is camp. Eubank Senior. Nah, man, he's a player, Bob. See, that's something you might not know. You say he's camp, which Americans he's calling him gay. I would call you a hater for calling Eubank Senior camp. I see Eubank Senior with the little eye. He's sleeping with your girl here. He got your girl filming them while he's hitting it. So like, too far. I'm messing with you, Bobsy. Dude, look, Eubank Senior. He's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. I know what you're saying. He's a bit. He's out there. You know. But I think he's a player. He's an OG. You got to respect the game. Victor Vallejo, 99 in the house. Joe T. Thanks, Johnny the man. I almost picked Flowers last week, but I didn't. I got you. Yeah, a lot of people pick Flaz, man. A lot of people pick Nick. Rightfully so. Nick is a good fighter. He's just not as good as Tiger, man. I thought that was, look, we always feel good when they hit, right? I told you guys last week, when they hit, we out here like, and when they don't hit, something's not going to hit. We can't always hit, but I'm glad you listened. Gilly versus Davis. Yeah. Upset alert. Upset alert. Ishmael's been active. He's fought, what, 3 times in 3 months? Kiki's fighting. Kiki's my guy. Kiki's on the undercard. Richard Torres is on the undercard in Mexico. That Mexican card. Vargas is there. Kiki's there. Landolfo Delgado's there. Some good fights on that card. How do we watch it, though? Yes, I used to be 79 Pro and I changed my name because I make. There you go. I knew it. Chris training with Bomac. Does that make a difference? He's been with Bomac, though. Right? It's not Eubank's first time training with Bomac. Yeah, he's been with Bomac. He was with Bomac years ago. So I heard a couple people bring that up. I was like, this is old news, though. He first hired him for the Liam Smith fight. Yeah, so it's nothing new. Platanos. I got that going the distance. You mean 570? No. No. Oh, yeah. You're right. On the 1,000, 570, 10,000, 5,700. Good call. No, Johnny's right. Money had already come in on Conor. Your book hasn't updated. Okay. I'm going to say, what's up, boys? I guess money comes in Eubank Jr. I'm not going to hit the British scene. Delgado's way more skilled. It should be. Don't understand how Delgado's only. Yeah. Dakota Linger. Thanks, Jinru. Looks like Bomac is overworked and love the process, though. Yeah, I mean, how old? Let's see what we got here. Is anybody here really comfortable with Junior beating Benn again? Is that the play? We should do a poll. How do we do? Is there a way to do a poll on the live stream or no? Do they have that option on here, guys? Can I do a poll on the live stream or no? I don't know how to use this shit. I'm just hitting buttons. Win Santiago, I was surprised too. Yeah. Let's continue on our walk down the money lines. Share this tab instead. So yeah, this is my steal of the week. Landolfo Delgado, 128. I mean, even 128, it's juicy enough to put on a parlay. It'll juice up a 4-legger. And what else we got? Sam Gilly, Ishmael, we talked about it. Kiki Torres. All right, I brought this up yesterday in the chat. Of the American heavyweight scene, we saw Josh Edwards just 2 days ago in a weird fight. The ref was trying to stop that from jump. He's only had, 5 pro fights? He just turned pro last year. Kiki Torres, a little bit more advanced than him in his pro career. We saw Kiki Torres beat a very tough Guido Vianello, and we saw Guido just took on that undefeated French Canadian dude and looked great. I don't know, like 33-1. Is it just I want to see Torres step up? I know that there's not a lot of heavyweights. I know that like matchmaking, it's a top rank card. We see this all the time. But I have I have big plans for Kiki Torres. I think Richard Torres could make some noise on the world scene. I don't know if this is going to get him there. I don't know. Maybe this is a stay busy fight. That is a thing. It's something we should talk about. Um Yeah, but Makey, I've never seen the poll on the screen when he does it. He loves saying make a poll. You watch his live streams, but I was wondering if we could get the poll on the screen so the boys could see. I'm gonna put the you know what we'll do if anyone wants to jump on the Discord, let me know. If anybody wants to jump on the live stream, let me know. We're 45 minutes in. I think I'm gonna wrap this up because I got a lot of videos to do, guys. So here's a little bit of the schedule for the uploads for the Stats Zone live videos for the boys. Because it's our one fight for Friday, your Thursday. I'm gonna do Stephen Butler versus Fonjo. So Stephen Butler, Fonjo, Catterall, Esteban, Eubank, Benn, Rafa Espinoza. That's a fight we didn't talk about. I want to do I might do Delgado right now. I'm gonna do Lindolfo Delgado, Valenzuela. I got a lot of work to do behind the scenes. Rafa Espinoza is fighting Kagai. Let me show you something real quick. I'm a fan of Espinoza. He's one of my favorite champions. We won a lot of money on him when he knocked out Edward Vasquez. That was his last fight. He's fighting a guy named Kagai. Kagai's never been stopped. The thing is, he's only 5'5". Rafa's what, 6'1", which is insane. Okay, 10-1 dog. I do think these odds are off. I think that Arnold Kagai is a lot tougher. He's not a household name. He's 23-2, never been stopped. He's fought, he went the distance with Cool Boy Fulton, but that was in 2020. And we know Rafa Espinoza is a goddamn savage. So I think I like the over. There's a prop on this 7-12. I think Kagai's tough enough to get into those mid to later rounds. I'll show you a prop I really like. If I go full committal to this, I'll let you know. I'm just giving you a heads up where my head's at with this fight, and sharing with you where I think there's some money to be made on this fight. So if you go here, because obviously isn't doing us anything. And I was initially thinking about taking Rafa on points based off of how tough Kagai is. He is tough. 6'1" versus 5'5", though, how Rafa punches down and how aggressive he is. I think he will be the first guy to stop Kagai. So rather than taking that 132, I like this one. Earlier, round betting, show all. Seven to 12. Did I miss it? Alternative round betting. I saw a prop earlier today. Round betting markets. Alternative round betting. Right here. This is the bet I really like for this fight. So this might be my prop of the week. This one. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I hit these all the time. I'm probably like 50% with these ones. My highest win rate lately over the last month is actually picking the dog of the week. But I do like this prop. I think Kagai's should, I'm leaning on Kagai's toughness and the fact that he's never been stopped, but I think Rafa does get him out of there. We'll see. Somebody brought up a good point in the Discord. We are seeing, as of late, early round stoppages with Verge and Boots. And when did Rafa get Vasquez out there? I think Vasquez hung around a little bit. Was it the 4th? 7th. Vasquez hung around towards the 7th. Man, those Robesi fights were awesome, by the way. Before Robesi the first time though, not a lot of people were talking about Rafa. And then we know what confidence means for a guy. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Reason why I'm really high on Hitchens. Getting that stoppage against George. I think we're going to see more of that. And it was the same thing why I was like really high on Tiger stopping Flaws. I got him at 10-1 because I knew that he had the skills. Sometimes a fighter just has to fight up to the confidence that's required to start getting these performances. So nobody really was talking about Rafa up until that Robesi first fight. Vasquez hung around till the 7th, super tough. Yeah. It's not my legit prop, but I'm like 90% sure this will probably be my prop bet of the week. I'll let you know. Mr. Elbow User. Well, if you guys watch any of the old who was it? Any of the old Freddie Roach. I don't know how old you guys are, or how big of boxing nerds you guys are. But I'm a pretty big boxing nerd. Like I didn't only grow up boxing, but I coach it. And I was the type of kid who would watch the fight tutorials, like the boxing tutorials. So when you're looking at a punch that Freddie Roach made famous, a drill, he would, and this is a testament to Boxing Wiz's comment here. So a drill that we would do is on the heavy bag, you're leaning in here, and when you're drilling your lead hook here, you don't land with the fist. You drill that lead hook to land with the elbow. So here. So it's dirty as fuck and it's illegal. I'm just saying. It's a thing that it's an old-time dirty boxing tactic, dude, in the clinch. Or old-time phone booth style, like lean in real tight. Get the glove. Even if the glove grazes the heavy bag, follow through with it. And so Espinosa's 6'1", fighting these little ass dudes, man. Going back and watching Lima versus Ortiz, the fight was rigged. Fight was rigged. I'm glad not the only one who saw it. What do you mean fight was rigged, King Picks? King Picks, what you talking about? How was it rigged? How was the fight rigged? I'm here for it. I want to hear it. That was the worst I saw Lubin fight in a while. He got caught early, man. Yeah, he got caught early. So you're saying because it was the worst Lubin looked to you, it had to be rigged? You don't think Lubin just got caught early and had these things happen in boxing? To say it's rigged, see, I would rather say I'm a big accountability guy. I would rather say it that I would hold the fighter accountable rather than create the rhetoric that the whole sport is accountable. That's pretty crazy to say. You know what I'm saying? So like you just said that's the worst I saw Lubin fight in a while. You just said it. There you go. But then to say the sport was rigged is pretty insane. You know what I mean? That's all I have to say about that. Those look like comfortable shoes. He fought with no pressure because he was fighting Virgil, mate. How y'all feel about the Jack Catterall fight? King Ty, I gave you I'm uploading my breakdown, but here's what I have to say about Catterall versus Esserman. If you like Jack, you like Jack because of his, accuracy, his countering, his backhand, his class, his resume. You're gonna like the fact that he went to America, and this will be his first camp with Bozianis. And if you don't like Jack, you're gonna be worried about his volume. You're gonna be worried about his output. You're gonna be worried about him giving rounds away. If you like Essuman, you're gonna like the fact that he is a cardio machine. His nickname literally is the machine, or the engine. His nickname is the engine. So output, volume, pace. You mix it and think about it as of late in recent memory, when we're thinking about the guy with output, volume, pace versus a guy who kind of likes to be perfect a bit. Think about Yenis Tellez, and shout out to Mankey Crazy. He put this he dropped this comparison in the Discord. Think about what we saw with Yenis Tellez versus Barral. Similar in terms of one had pace output, one wasn't throwing enough. Odds were kind of similar. Tellez was I think more heavily favored this one. I could see a path to victory for Essuman, man. Look, if Echo fought well against Josh Taylor. They said Lubin got a cash app. Nobody gets a cash app to get knocked out unconscious on the world stage when you're a 30-year-old prize fighter. Anybody who says he got a cash app that Friday night never boxed before. There ain't no way that these are the most proud athletes of any athlete. These are guys who partake in a sport. It's a solo sport. There's no team. This isn't a pitcher, getting paid to throw a game. This isn't a basketball player getting paid to fake an injury. These are fighters. Now, and this isn't a domestic can sort of guy like you see in Hollywood movies who get paid to take a dive. This is Erickson the Hammer Lubin, mate. This is a guy that, wasn't it Mike Tyson signed out of the amateurs? This dude the U.S. boxing were salty that he turned pro when he did. This is a guy who only fought for a world title when he was 20. This is a guy who fought life and death with Seb in a fight that wasn't his fight and still dropped Seb late and had to get stopped because of damage. You guys just aren't seeing. You guys, people saying that are just unwilling to see how good Virgil is. So I think the people need to check themselves and just come to terms that Virgil is that dude. Virgil's pressure, ferocity, punch placement, accuracy, everything he threw landed, his aggression. Virgil's a lot bigger than people think. He's a lot bigger than people think he is, and he can punch, and he's a dog, and he's gonna outwork you. Virgil Ortiz is a goddamn nightmare to prepare for. You're just gonna sit on the ropes and get knocked out cold because somebody gave you money. That's actually hilarious. Saying that fight was rigged might be one of the worst takes. Yeah. All right, cool. Because I don't know what you guys are saying in real time. I just do my little piece and I'm like, oh shit, what's the chat saying? Oh shit, are they about to call me out? Oh shit, maybe I got this wrong. But I'm glad that I read that from S. Lubin cashed out and took the nut. He's a Philly guy. I won on Subaru on points over play up. Brendan, how dare you? I missed, dude. That was, mate. I'm still salty about that, man. That one decision cost me so much money. I still think Playo won those last. I gave Playo 2 out of the 3 last rounds. I'm still salty about that decision. I don't think Subaru won that fight. Boss call was made. Virgil versus. That's not happening. See, no. Virgil and Boots is not happening next. 100% that doesn't go down next. So that can't be your reasoning. It's happening, but it's not happening next. What up, Johnny? Just tuned in. Who we locking in? Rez, right now we're locking in Lindolfo Delgado on the money line. That's a steal. Other than that, we got a lot of time until Friday. Lock in right now. Lindolfo Delgado on the money line. It's a steal. Trust me. Steal of the week. I know some Steelers and they ain't from Pittsburgh. Virgil just looked possessed, King. He looked. I put, if you go to my breakdown on my shorts, I did a breakdown on this exact thing, and you could see Virgil looked possessed, dude, in all the good ways. And somebody said earlier, and Eric wasn't ready for that pressure, man. Lubin. Yo, wow. Money coming in on us. Yeah. Yeah. You'd think it would be. You'd think that would be the case. I don't have Lindolfo available. If you can find him, find him. I thought play on 1-2. These Saudi judges like that. They do. Great point. One of my guys that we all have our for every boxing head. You know what? This goes for anybody. Every great coach has a great coach. Every great teacher has a great teacher. So the guys that I lean on, that's the idea of personal development. You know, you want to, no matter if you're evolving in life, or even in your corporate career, or whatever you do for a living, or your intimate relationships, you always want to have the mindset of like, how can I become a better fill in the blank, a better boyfriend, a better husband, a better friend, a better brother? How can I become a better teacher, a better coach, a better athlete? Whatever that is, you will then put yourself around people that you could reach out to and lean on for like advice. And so one of the guys that I lean on in terms of like talking every week, we talk a lot about I've never even met him in real life. I mean, I talk to a lot of you guys behind the scenes too. If you guys, some of you guys know, if you ever message me on Instagram, you're going to get a voice memo back. That's just how I roll. I don't type. So my point is, one of the guys that I talk to a lot, he's a former pro fighter. He said the same point. He's a stat nerd like me. He brought up these statistics also of undefeated fighters over the last few years on these Saudi cards losing. So like what he does is when he's going through his breakthrough and he's going through the week of fights coming up, he'll look at these 50-50 fights and be like, all right, he's undefeated. This guy has one loss. Over the last 2 years, there's been like 13 guys who lost their O's on these Saudi cards. He was like that. So this is something he said before, though. The Saudi judges like the output. They like that optic. Something to keep in mind, man. Yeah, an intelligent Virgil is a scary fighter, and yeah, a patient, intelligent. He's still pretty young. Virgil's only 27. That was his fifth fight at 54. He started off with 2 knockouts, then with 24 rounds with Madrimov and Boacek, then the Lubia. So he's 5-0 at 54. I mean, we still. How is he not fighting for world titles? What is going to be the path, though, guys? This is why he's not going to fight. This is why the Boots fight doesn't make sense right now, because neither guy has a belt. What is it? Is it it has to be the WBC route. But Xander, we got Murtazaev, Xander, WBO, WBA, WBC, IBF, 54 champions. I mean, to think that Boots and Virgil aren't world champions, you then have to play, you have to do your deductive reasoning and have a matrix and be like, all right, this has to happen. Because I don't see them fighting from a marketing standpoint unless they have belts, right? Am I tripping on this? I think that Murtazaev is fighting Joshua Kelly. But every time I think that, somebody says they're not fighting. So we'll see. Guys, I got to wrap it up, man. I appreciate you. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm going live again soon. So you're going to see me in a couple hours. Subscribe. Stats don't lie. Incoming. I guess I'm going to do I think I'm going to do Lindolfo. We'll see. There's a video coming.